I want to take my van for the first night camping in the next episode, and I guess it's safe to say there's quite a lot of stuff to do before that. Now obviously I'm not gonna get it done. What I want to do in this episode is frame out the roof of the van and insulate it, so at least I'm not gonna wake up drenched in condensation water. Talking about water, it's raining today, which is a bummer, but I hope it clears up. In the meantime, check this out. That was insane. I gotta take some measurements off the roof, and then let's head to the hardware store to pick up some wood. I will eventually clad out the ceiling with wooden paneling, but I need some place to mount that. I'm gonna use those 2 metal struts that are already in the van and glue in 2 more wooden ones. I thought about using plywood strips and then just laminating them together and glue them in place so they could fit the arch of the van. But let me show you. That's the first one and the second one over there, and then I want to glue in wooden piece over here and towards the front of the van, and that should give me plenty of options to mount the paneling. Alright, now off to the hardware store. It always takes me so much longer at the hardware store than I'd like to admit, but yeah, got the wood, and at least this time it seems to be in pretty decent quality. I think I've parked downhill and I didn't fix my handbrake. Now that's sketchy. My van started rolling and I got a bit scared. Let's head back home and get the wood cut to size. Alright, so let's see if it fits. And I'd say that's pretty much like a glove, and they're actually super bendable, which is perfect for my plan. So I think I'm gonna drill the holes for the riv nuts, put those in, and then it's time for lunch. I stand corrected. Considering drying times, it makes more sense to start with the last piece because that's gonna be glued in, and as you know, Sikaflex takes time to dry. So let's get this one prepped, glued in, and then we can have lunch. And also I have no clue why I keep saying that. I mean, obviously it's just me who's gonna have lunch. You're probably sitting at breakfast, at least if you watch it right after I uploaded it. Alright, happy weekend. That just took me 20 minutes. Sure hope it's worth it. Alrighty, finally time for lunch, but while I've got the gloves on, I think I'm just gonna plant little Moroccan mint, and once that's done, the Seeker Flex should have dried enough so that I can remove the clamps and do the second one to start the afternoon. I've got no clue when my parents last changed the soil in this pot, but I guess it never happened. So I put in some fresh stuff, mixed it all up, and gave the mint a little cozy home. Lunch was great, and actually the sun came out, so first time this year that I had to put on sunscreen. So let's get back into it and make most of our day. Also, it's t-shirt weather again, and I could not be any happier. Sun was heating up the wood glue just a bit too much, so I had to repark the van. But now let's glue in the second piece. Seeker really should consider sponsoring me. I'm using so many of those tubes and it's getting pretty expensive. Quick coffee break and then finally putting in the rivet nuts in the two middle beams. And then it's already kind of a wrap on day one. But we'll see how far we get. Now that's really cool. Exactly where I wanted to drill the holes for the rivet nuts there are actually already holes in place. Now, I would need 6.9 millimeters and these are 7.5, but I guess those will work. So I'm gonna do those first. And if they work, then good enough. If not, I'm gonna drill out more holes with the other ones. So let's set up the rivet knot gun. I'm calling it a day. I'm super exhausted and I'm gonna see you in a bit. Good morning. Now, I didn't want to bore you out, so I already spent some hours out here gluing up another beam. But before we can continue with the van, we actually gotta do something else, so let's head inside. I also just wrapped up filming the yoga studio. That was a project I did almost a year ago, and unfortunately I didn't know at the time that I wanted to get into long form YouTube content, so I filmed everything vertically, but I made some shorts, so check those out. I'm just super happy with how it turned out, but it's such a bummer that I didn't make a YouTube video out of it, because this for sure is the coolest thing I've ever done. And if you haven't seen this room before, this was actually my childhood bedroom, which after moving out, I turned into my mom's dream yoga studio. So yeah, that was 2 weeks of hard work. Enough contemplating, let's get back to the van. Next up is preparing the ribs for the 2 metal beams inside, gluing those up, and then we can already start insulating the roof. Alright, so dry fitting worked like a charm. It fits really well. Only issue, the bolts are a bit on the small side, but I'm just gonna countersink it a bit more. So let's glue that in, and then it smells like it's soon gonna be time for lunch. It really wasn't supposed to be raining today. I actually already got some sunset music picked out, which I'm gonna play nonetheless. Maybe the sun will come out. No, that was incredible, holy moly. Alright, well, I guess we've got sun now. Now, I am really excited because insulating the ceiling is the last part before the van is kind of ready for its first night out. Of course, there will only be a rudimentary camper, but still. Alright, let's get the ceiling insulated.